Hi everybody, this is Sharon Mason and Debbi Anderson, and we are both Soul Center Healing Hypnosis practitioners. And today we're going to talk a little bit about how to prepare for your healing hypnosis session. Debbi, do you want to just say a little bit at the front, just to talk a little bit about some of your experience?
Sure. So I am a soul-centered healing hypnosis practitioner, and I initially started out doing that by doing Beyond Quantum Healing, and discovered that I wanted more training. And so I went off in this direction, and I am finding it, and the clients are finding it amazing to heal from all kinds of things. Their pain, like physical pains, their emotional pains, their trauma, and ways that they did not believe that they could heal from. So this is just to tell people what to expect during these sessions. And, people are always asking, okay, well, what do I expect? So this is what this is for.
Yeah, it's really quite amazing. I mean, I've just started practicing and doing my practice sessions myself, and the things that come out are really quite astounding sometimes. But the first thing we're going to talk about really is what people expect when they come for a hypnosis session. And that's because a lot of the time, I think when I first had hypnosis, I was expecting to see like a video playing in front of my eyes, but that's not what happens at all. And it's more sort of thoughts and feelings and just things that just pop into your head that you've just got to trust.
That's really true, because I agree with you. I thought it was going to be a movie playing out, and having had many sessions myself, that's not what happens. And so people were like, am I doing this wrong? Am I not able to be hypnotized? Well, we're all able to be hypnotized because really it's a very natural state. We basically go into a state that we are in at least twice a day when we wake up, that initial time, and when we go to sleep. So it's a very natural state. It's not something we're doing to you, nothing to be afraid of.
Yeah,
you are always in control. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like that. Some people think that it's going to be like they're under anesthetic or something and they're not going to remember anything, but that's not that case at all.
Right.
They're completely conscious. Their conscious mind is still present, but we're just trying to push it aside just so it just sits and watches.
Right.
While the other stuff kind of happens and is allowed in, and it's about trusting what comes and not questioning it and not analyzing it and not being too analytical and logical.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a very specific, like we get you into a state in which you're super relaxed. You're not sleeping, because I mean, if you happen to fall asleep, we will wake you up, but it doesn't happen very often. I think it's happened once with me, with someone. And so you are, it's right, what Sharon is saying, you're conscious. You might not remember the exact details exactly, because sometimes during the conversations that we're having with you, we're speaking to the bigger mind, your higher self. So you might not remember some of the details, but you certainly will understand the flow of the session. For sure.
And it's not like stage hypnosis. We're not going to tell you to bark like a dog or pretend you're a chicken laying an egg or anything like that.
No, and we can't do that. It just, I mean, people do have that idea that that's what we're going to do, and they don't have any control, but you're in control completely. Yeah. And we've both experienced these sessions and being under hypnosis, so we do know what exactly it feels like, completely. Right. Mm-hmm.
And if people want to prepare before the session, what can they do?
I mean, I would say what helps people certainly is to be able to relax your mind. I mean, people, if they meditate, and of course meditation can be anything from walking, sitting outside, enjoying the sunshine, and to meditation where you actively are doing that practice. Also, I suppose the ability to come to the session with the frame of mind to
Open-mindedness.
right, like no expectations really, because I mean, I certainly have a channel, and Sharon does too, where we have some sessions from other people, and every session is different. So the expectations, you sort of leave those at the door when you come in, because your session is going to be specific for you. Your higher self is going to give you what you need and in that session. So if you leave those expectations, well, this is going to happen or that's going to happen, so you just come in with an open mind is right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the more you relax and just let it flow, just the easier it gets, and the more you kind of get comfortable with it as you kind of go on. And that's what I've found.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, it's a safe environment. You're in your own, the way that we do, I would say most of these sessions is remotely. So, I mean, the advantage of that is you're in your own environment. You're in your own bed or sofa, usually like laying down, and so you have the comfort of your own space. You control your environment, who's there. You don't have to rush to get to, the appointment. So that in itself is really good, for you, for the client.
And even if you can't, even if you're not someone who's used to relaxing or doing meditation, you can find all sorts of guided meditations on places like YouTube,
right,
which will, just again relax your mind right down and get you into that space.
I mean, when I send information to prepare people for the session, there is a meditation, I believe, that I send along that will help with that. Yeah, I mean, some people are beyond guided meditation. They just need music, whatever it is that helps you relax your mind. And we also, during the session, we relax your body, but we also relax your mind, and, do specific, I guess, part of the session that helps you relax yourself so much and your mind so much.
Mm-hmm. The main part of being able to go under this hypnosis is to be able to visualize. So how do you find out whether or not someone is a good visualizer?
Well, I mean, the first part of what we do is we get the person to send us information. So during that information, people will always indicate if whether or not they meditate or what they do to get visualized. So then during the start of the session, the first portion of it, maybe 45 minutes of the portion, is going over the paperwork that you sent me, and then talking about, do you visualize? Like, what is that to you? How do you do that? What does that look like? Is it images? I mean, for myself, it's images. It's also a sense, a knowing. I might have some pictures come into my mind. Most people honestly don't have that movie playing. Like, they just, we also, I ask, that's what I do. I ask. Yeah. What about you?
Yeah, I always say, if, can you visualize? If they say, I don't know, I just say, well, if I'd say, can you see a yellow flower in your mind? Can you see a yellow flower in your mind? And usually they say yes.
And what does it look like? and what kind of flower is it? But then you're already doing it, because you're saying, oh yeah, well, it's like a tulip or a daffodil. Oh, okay. Does it, what else? Where are you seeing that? Or it's, people think it's a big thing, but it's not. It really isn't, to visualize. Yeah. Right.
So in order to have the session online, what sort of equipment setup do people need to make sure they've got?
Okay, so we don't use phones because phones fall over. I mean, I have had to do that once, because the laptop wouldn't work. So the person would need a laptop or a PC, or a Mac, and that has a camera, so a webcam, or if it has to have a camera, because we need to be able to see you, because we're watching, you during the session, the client during the session, to make sure your respirations are you're in deep trance, and how you're doing. So you also need these a headset like this, and the reason. I initially started off doing sessions where people didn't have these. They had earbuds. They were using their computers, and what ended up happening is I couldn't hear them, and so I was like, "Excuse me, pardon, what are you saying?" And that's exactly what happened actually with this person I was saying a couple of weeks ago, that her equipment just wouldn't work. And we also ask that you test your equipment before you start, so that we're not spending, 20 minutes of your time checking out your equipment. So, you need the headset with the microphone. It doesn't have to be this fancy one. It can be, one that has a microphone that's, some people will borrow it. Their kids might have one for gaming, whatever. But so that's why we need that. That's why we specify that. And of course, the camera is so that you can see us and that we can see you. We ask that you shut your phones off so you don't have any buzzing or phone calls.
Keep the
Some
pets
people
out of the room.
Pets out of the room, and why that's important. And children out of the room.
Yeah.
So some people pick,
yeah,
like maybe you can pick a day when you've got the morning to yourself, because the sessions are generally about 3 hours to 3.5 hours, and they might not be as long as that, but the first part is the conversation. We're just getting to know you, going through the paperwork that asks you, so what issues do you have, what do you want to work on, and so on. And then there's the hypnosis, and then there's the wrap up. So
tell us a little bit more about the paperwork and why that's so important.
The paperwork tells us what you want from the session, what it kind of indicates to how you see the session, like what to where, what you believe it can do for you. It also, we ask some questions if you have emotional issues, anxiety, or pain issues, grief, anything that would a trauma, if you've been in the hospital for any length of time. And this particular modality deals with attachments. That's part of what we can do, if that's what you want to do, to use your higher self to scan, to find out if there's any attachments, and so what happens is when there's trauma in your body that you haven't, processed, through as a child, for example, it can sit in your energy fields and cause you then to have pain in ways that you might not even know, like that's even attached to what happened to you when you were, a kid.
And what they write on their paperwork is so important, because not only does it tell you how they might have picked up an attachment, but it also tells you how those attachments are affecting them.
Right. Yes. And again, like you might, there might not be any correlation. Like you might not understand that, oh, this happened and I didn't process it, or it was so big and it turned into, a problem in my hip, like, or, I had these emotional issues that, I've been anxious for years and I don't know why. So, yeah.
And then I had a client a couple of weeks ago who had written on his paperwork that he had a slight hearing problem. So of course it was an in-person session, so it was fine. So we weren't using headsets or anything like that. But when he was under hypnosis, when I was trying to get him under hypnosis, he couldn't hear me because, of course, you have to speak quite quietly. And I had to speak quite a lot louder for him. And I thought, is he going to go under if I'm talking really loud?
Yeah.
But luckily, it worked very well. And he went under absolutely superbly. So
I find that these headsets, you can speak like really, in a low voice, and people can hear you so well because they have a headset on and you have a headset on. So it makes it a lot easier, for people to hear you. That's funny.
And so, while people are under hypnosis, of course, we need to tell them, that you're our eyes and ears. We don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to come up. So we're expecting the client to give us as much detail as they can.
Mm-hmm. So we ask a lot of questions, your higher self usually comes through, and honestly, we just ask questions, a lot of questions to find out what's going on with you. So that's why we ask the questions, so we can help to find out what the issue is, how you got it, when you got it, and how to get it out of your energy fields. And we use higher beings to help us. I'm not doing that work. I'm merely the person. That's right. Yeah.
Some people think that when I say to people, we can find out whether or not you've got any energetic attachments, they think that I'm going to identify the attachments. So I say, no, it's not me that identifies them. You're going to identify them.
You. Yeah. It's you. It's your higher self.
How will I know if I've got, if I've got attachments, or how will you know if I've got attachments? I said, I won't know, but you'll tell me.
They'll tell me. And the thing is people get kind of afraid if they think, oh, well, I have these dark beings on me, but you have them on you. You don't, we're not putting them on you. You, and pretty much everyone has them. Mm-hmm. I had them. I had to have, several sessions to remove them. And I feel
light workers attract them like magnets.
They like the light. Mm-hmm. They like the light, and the higher you are in your vibration, the more that they're attracted to that. And of course, the more we remove the entities, attachments, the higher your vibration gets, the higher the vibration of everyone gets, and the planet. So, I mean, it's a win-win situation for sure. Yeah.
So what else do we need to make sure of before we launch into a session? What are the sort of the safety checks that we need to do before we do a session online?
Well, we talked about, no one else in the room, no pets in the room, a period of time that you're uninterrupted, no candles, no incense burning, no soup on the stove.
And they can't use the microwave, can they? Because it might interrupt the
technology. Right. We like that. If you can have your computer or your laptop plugged hardwired in, because then it's not interfered. You're not relying on Wi-Fi. I mean, if you can do that, that would help. Not to have anything that's going to fall on your head, when you're laying down. I'm trying to think if there's other stuff that you're comfortable, that you have a nice place that you're feeling comfortable to lay down, a pillow, a blanket.
Quite a while.
Obviously, like before we start, you're going to have a bathroom break. If you have to use the washroom while we're in session, you have to go, which happens all the time. You just tell us, and then we just bring you back, down by counting, maybe down some stairs.
Have you had one like that yet? Because I've not had one of those yet.
I've had somebody who had to went to the washroom before we started, and then twice during the session. And
of course the demons are squeezing the bladder, because I've had that on me, and I've also had it with a client.
I think I was with you. I think I think it's you and me, and that's exactly what happens. You know, these dark entities that attach, they will try anything to stop us from helping you, from helping the client. And that's why we say no candles burning, no soup on the stove, no things that are going to fall on your head. They will try anything. And I had this technology issue where it was unbelievable. And the person had a brand new laptop, like 2 months old. Suddenly the camera wouldn't work, like not at all. Then we had to got the camera to work, but then we had to use her phone, and then her phone was going in and out. And then when the session was finished and we were able to remove a lot of issues, everything was fine. Absolutely everything. The computer was fine, her phone was fine, everything was fine. So yeah, I wasn't aware that there was so much lower vibrational entities around us. Now, they're not all like that. Some people, like when we talk about why do you want to know if you're had long stays in the hospital, for example, it's because you're vulnerable, and that's an opportune time for an earthbound spirit, someone who's maybe in the hospital, lost their way, a child. I've had children who when they passed on, they didn't go to the light, they didn't go to that bright light, and they got confused.
They don't know where to go, or they're looking for someone who's kind, someone like their mother or something like that. And
yes,
attached.
And they see this kind person, and they get bound to that person so we're really helping them get back to their own family, to their own, to source, which is what we do with the darker entities too. We do get them back to source. We always do, using and it's very safe. They're not going to jump into somebody else, because there's a very specific way that we do that. We've been taught to have the assistance of the amazing Archangel Michael and his net of light. So there is no worry that these entities are going to jump into, someone else in the house, because it's all very contained. Yeah, it's honestly amazing work. Like I truly am blown away by how amazing it is.
I'm so happy to be doing this now. So happy.
Yeah, we learned our work from Laura Whitworth, and she is an amazing teacher and healer. I can't say enough about how wonderful she is, truly. And she's taught us this amazing, powerful healing modality to help others. Yeah.
I had some clients who, again, people who've come to me in person, who were telling me, one of them told me that she was having thoughts that she didn't want to come to the session, the morning of the session, even though she knew she did want to come. And another one who kind of started feeling sick or getting stomach problems. Another one who had a headache appear. Yep. And they're saying, but I never get headaches. And I was saying, it's the demons, it's the dark energies who are trying to get you to stop, to not come for the session.
Right, it's true. They don't want to go. They don't understand. They've often been trapped themselves, and they might have someone above them telling them what to do. We also remove artificial intelligence devices that are machines that are put in people. It sounds really
it sounds really odd. It sounds really weird, but it works. It works.
It does work, and it does really help people. Honestly, the people that I've had as clients have come back and they've said, hey, my entire life just changed. I moved house. I moved from here to here. I'm starting, this career that I felt stuck before. I ended a relationship that was really unhealthy, and now I'm in a healthy relationship. Because we don't know that these entities, these attachments are there. We do not know. We also
how they're affecting them or anything. And then I have people who I'm looking at in person, and they're sitting opposite me and they're chatting to me as when they come in. And sometimes they're just, they're looking down, they won't meet my eyes. And then after the session, the change in them, the energy and the enthusiasm, and they're looking me right in the eyes, and
they look totally different.
Whole person has completely
they're bright
changed.
And we also I mean, if there's not any attachments, or there's only a few attachments, we do past life regression as well, which is also really healing. And also there's a period of time where we answer questions from higher self that the person brings, the client brings, that they want to know about themselves or humanity. And we help with those.
Yeah. And I've got a list of those on my website for anyone who wants to an idea of what sort of questions you can ask the higher self.
Yeah. We also do, like, after you have the work of the entity removal, the attachments, the earthbound spirits and so on, the black magic that's been removed, we do healing on the chakras and the aura, because as we were mentioning earlier, there can be a fracture in the aura that needs to be resealed. So we bring in the archangels to help with that, and we go through each chakra to heal those and get them working properly and all that dense energy removed.
It's healing the energetic body.
Right. It is. Yeah.
So what advice would you give to someone after a session? What do they need to do after they've had this treatment?
Well, I've had people that are like, afterwards, they're just like feeling like a new person. They're like, they are energized. They just feel fantastic. And there's others that are feeling kind of like, they've had so much taken out. They're spaced out. So, I mean, I usually say, spend some time going outside into nature, maybe have a salt bath, be kind to yourself, get some rest, drink lots of water. You're going to notice a change in a shift in your energy over the next period of time, however that might be. It might be days, it might be weeks, it might be even a month or so, like a huge difference. I felt after I'd had session that I felt as though there was space within me. I feel lighter and different. And I mean, that's what I would say. It's this work is done energetically. So how attuned you are to that, your own energy, then you'll understand, I guess, or feel how it has affected you. And also, like, it comes into our reality here on this 3D planet, is this energy is removed. So this happened physically to me. I left my job, I left this relationship, my relationship has just suddenly improved, whatever it happens to be. Yeah.
And there are some people who might say, oh, it's all, it's all bonkers, it's all garbage, it's all, all this new age, it's some kind of new age rubbish. But all I can say to those people is you have to give it a try. Right. You have to give it a try, and you have to stay open-minded to it. And if you give it a try and it works for you, well.
And well, people that generally seek us out, though, already are kind of past that. They're like, they realize that we're all frequency, we all vibrate, everything vibrates. We're just so I haven't really found, I've had to explain things because they get it, the people that are coming, asking for sessions, seeking sessions. And with so much going on in the world and so much negativity, I think that this work is going to be needed to help people to heal in a big way. Big way. And then you can eventually learn how to remove these energies yourself. After they've been removed, it's like you can figure out how to do that yourself because you're not blocked. Yeah.
Okay. Is there anything else you
All
want to add, Debbie? Anything that we haven't covered?
I don't know. I think everybody should have one of these sessions.
Oh, yeah,
Honestly,
I
they are
agree. I think
life
everyone should have
changing.
several.
Yeah, I agree. It's like having I don't know, like a overhaul in a good way. Right?
Yeah, it's like having a big 100,000-mile service.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope that's helpful and answered the questions, and it's a really amazing experience.
Yeah,
Really
thank you
is.
very much, Debbie. So
Thank you.
Debbie is a practitioner in Canada, and I'm a practitioner in the UK, and I will put both of our websites up in case anyone would like to book a session. And thanks
Very
for
good.
watching.
Thanks for watching.